Have you ever wanted to be the very best, like no one ever was? Is it your real test to catch them all? Is training your cause? If you answered yes to any of the questions above, then you'll probably enjoy Riders of Icarus. A beautiful MMORPG that allows players to venture out into the world and capture all the larger than pocket-sized monsters. You know what, actually I'm sure that we can abbreviate that into something a little easier on the tongue though. Something like Larthopotamon, or Okay, never mind. This is apparently more difficult than I thought. Kudos to the people behind Pokemon, they really nailed that name. So Riders of Icarus is one of my wife's favorite MMORPGs of all time. She's played it quite extensively and I figured, you know, the furthest WIGGY and I ever got through it was about an hour or so. With the release of the new Magician class, what better time is there than the present to not only take the class for a ride, but also the game itself for another spin as well. The addition of the new Magician class brings the total selection of classes up to 8, including the Berserker, Guardian, Assassin, Priest, Wizard, Ranger, Trickster, and Magician, obviously. As is clearly evident, both the Trickster and Magician, though, are both gender and race locked behind little female lollies. And I know after games like Terra, there are quite a few of you that are a little, I guess, less forgiving of race or gender locking classes, but at the very least, you don't have to be a lolly or too much of one. Now, after a significant amount of time spent in the character creator, and trust me, there were a lot of options in there, I ended up making a solid 5'7" teenager. And she has my eyebrows. So choosing the new Magician class, I was given an overhauled storyline and beginner experience. Much different to what my wife had, as an example. And you can bet that she was more than a little jealous, especially given that she'd gone through that same tutorial various times in the past. Okay, so admittedly I may not be 5'7". I believe even after adjusting my height to maximum, I'm still about 2 feet tall, but at least I'm cute. So I have that going for me. Is this not the most adorable thing you've ever seen? Okay, after that I believe it's probably slightly less adorable, right? Right, of course. Imagine hearing that every time you sprint. Yeesh. I mentioned earlier that you could go out and capture monsters, right? I feel like I did. Those monsters can be used both as traditional pets and mounts. Yes, if you see something out in the wild that you think would be awesome to hop on top of and ride, chances are you probably can. You just need to stand behind it wait. The NPC said jump on it. I have a time limit, damn it, horse. Let me mount you. Okay, it looks like the help menu actually explains it. Let's try this again. The taming system is fairly basic, requiring certain button inputs to keep the taming gauge on the increase. When complete, bam! Monster tamed. Unfortunately, there are no monster balls to keep them inside of. They just poof, right into the ether. As my wife is super rich in real life, she went ahead and spoiled me in game by getting me a matching mountain outfit. This is why I married her. I make shit out from YouTube, pretty much like every other MMO tuber out there, and I need a sugar mama to support my poor ass. But damn, I look awesome, right? Come on, tell me I look awesome. The sheer variety of mounts in this game is just absurd. Like, if nothing else, the game is worth it just to ride around on an ether-powered motorcycle. Combat in Riders of Icarus, on the other hand, is a mixture of both tab target and action combat. To use single target skills, a target is required. To use AoEs, however, no target's necessary. This way, you can AoE large groups of enemies without a main target, but you can't attack normally without one. The game is also one of the very few MMOs out there that allow mounted combat. In the air, aerial mounted combat. Perfect World, Revelation Online. There are a few games that allow aerial combat, but not aerial combat while mounted on a traditional mount. I've actually noticed that a lot of the premise of Riders of Icarus is based around the whole monster capture and utilize thing. Which isn't bad, it definitely separates it from most traditional MMOs. So we got to a point where we needed to proceed into a dungeon, and although there were players waiting outside, I assured my wife that I had this in the bag. She needn't worry, I am the new OP class after all. So we completed the dungeon with little issue, partly due to having better gear than required, and partly due to me being so fucking good at this game. And then we continued on for another hour or so after the dungeon, but I believe generally what followed was more or less the same. We ran quest to level, and we even caught a few monsters. All in all, it was a fairly pleasant experience. Honestly, I wish I had more time in game to see exactly what made it so special to my waifu for lifeu, but alas, our day ended and we needed to wrap it up. So my first impression of the game is that it's a very attractive, beautiful, even MMORPG with various unique mechanics. And I truly hope to continue exploring this world and seeing what the game itself has to offer. So if all of you guys want a part 2, let me know. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. I'm out. Peace. Thank you for watching my Riders of Icarus video. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing to my channel over here, checking out another video, or following me on Twitter at ByteStix to just chat or hang out.